Do you want me to do this? I can do it.
Hello and welcome to Olympus High School located in Holiday, Utah. My name is Calvin Fuller and alongside me is
Mark Schwartz.
Tonight we feature the matchup between the Olympus Titans and the East Leopards. East enters the game at 5-11. East played their last game 1 week ago, losing to Murray 47-53. On Friday, Olympus improved their record to 14-4 with a 78-40 win over Murray.
Yeah, and 3 Titan players scored in double figures in that game, and 2 players had 9 points. Just a great offensive performance from the Titans. One of their best offensive games of the entire year. This is the second matchup between Olympus and East in the last 2 weeks. Me and Jax Butterly were at the earlier game that got rescheduled due to COVID. That game, Olympus played very well. East is a very tough team. They score the ball well, and Olympus took their best hit and still came out on top, winning 62-44. I'd expect a similar game tonight. East is going to come to play. They're going to play tough. They're going to play physical, and Olympus is going to have to match that.
Definitely. East is currently 19th in the RPI with Olympus in second behind Lehigh. East High's leading scorer, Mia Tarver, had 18 points along with 12 points from Olivia Tasinga. Olympus had a breakout game from Mary Sheets as she scored 23 points to lead the Lady Titans. Alyssa Blank, who leads the team in scoring, contributed 19 points in the win.
So Calvin, what are some keys to the game coming into tonight?
For tonight, Olympus is to shoot early and often to get in a rhythm. You can either find the play with the hot hand or have a bounce scoring attack. The forwards of Blank, Topham, and Baker need to be active in the paint and aggressive. Try to get East in foul trouble early. Challenge the East Leopards to defend low or get out of the way.
And the thing with East is that they are undersized against this Titan team. Their tallest player is 5'9", Alyssa Blank, 6'2", Abby Topham, 6 foot, and Joss Baker is 5'11". So Olympus is going to have the advantage inside tonight.
The 1 weak spot for the Lady Titans is their free throw shooting, with the exception of Alyssa Blank. The team is shooting 63% and could improve in that area. It will be tough for East to stop the Lady Titans if they are successful scoring early and often. Olympus has been hot from the outside in the last 5 games. East needs to cause Olympus to turn over the ball and limit the wide open shots. East needs to be aggressive early in the paint, trying to draw fouls to get Blank or Topham into foul trouble early. Otherwise, it could be a repeat of the last meeting. Very good defense could shut down the Lady Titans.
And for East, to force those turnovers, they need to force Olympus to play a half-court game. They need to force the ball out of Alyssa Blank's hand and make other players handle the basketball and make the passes. That's how you're going to create turnovers against this Olympus team.
The Lady Titans currently sit in second place in Utah 5A Region 6. 5A Region 6 got more interesting on Friday. Skyline was undefeated in region play. Losing to Highland 45-55 makes it possible for Olympus to win the region title. The Lady Titans need to beat Skyline to have a shot at the region title next Tuesday.
And so if they beat Skyline, that would tie the season series and tie up the records between the 2 teams. And Olympus has the better win percentage, which is the tiebreaker in that case. So that would put Olympus at the top spot in 5A Region 6. Now, the thing about Olympus is they still need to beat Brighton on the road next Friday after the Skyline game in order to secure the region.
Hopefully we can see that big win for Olympus on senior night next Tuesday.
And if we look at some playoff predictions, we've seen the RPI. It's come out, updated every hour. Our potential matchup for the Titans is they will play the 31-seeded Provo in the first round, and they have a potential matchup with Orem in the second round, and then a very intriguing matchup against Springville in the quarterfinal. Springville beat Olympus earlier this year, 43-36 on the road, and Olympus, they would love to get the Red Devils in their own gym and have another crack at them. When we look at East coming into tonight, the biggest thing surrounding the Leopards is their losing streak. They've lost 3 games in a row, and it's a very different team from what we saw at the start of the year. They started the region play with a huge upset win over a very good Highland team, and then a blowout win over Murray and a close loss to Skyline. Most people coming into the later half of region play were thinking East could be a contender for this Region 6 championship, and they've fallen off a little bit. While two of East's last 3 losses were against Olympus and Highland, those are 2 very good teams. The Leopards lost to a miserable Murray team last Tuesday. That Murray team had only 1 region win before that game, and that was against Park City, a program who had their 2 best players quit halfway through the season. So Murray is not a good team and a very bad loss for the Leopards. We look at some of the causes behind this losing streak for East. Number 1 is a decomposing team defense. East has allowed 56.3 points per game in the last 3 losses. That's a plus 7.2 difference compared to the Leopards' region average of 49.1 points allowed per game. East has especially struggled at containing scoring guards in the last 3 games. And in the last 3 games, the Leopards have let 4 guards score in double figures and 2 score 20 plus. Mary Sheets obviously did it against East just 2 weeks ago. So Mary Sheets should be due for a big night tonight against a weak perimeter East defense. And then the other cause of East's slump is a slight decrease in offensive production. Again, let's look at the difference between the Leopards' first 3 region games and their last 3 region games. In the first 3 games against Highland, Murray, and Skyline, East averaged 52.7 points per game and got an average of 18.3 points per game from Mia Tarver and 16.3 points per game out of Taina Lee. In the last 3 games, the Leopards have not scored over 50 as a team once and are averaging 45.3 points per game. When you don't have a great defense, you have to score over 50 points a game to have any shot at winning a game. Part of this is caused by Mia Tarver and Taina Lee not scoring the basketball as well. Tarver is down to 16.7 points per game, and in the last 3 games, Lee is only averaging 10 points per game, a 6.3 points per game decrease from where she was at the start of region play. So Calvin, coming into tonight, what can the Leopards do to try to get Tarver and Lee going offensively?
I think defensively they could try to just do what they can do to block the really good Olympus team.
One thing that East needs to do tonight is be better rebounding the basketball. It's been a major weakness for this East team. The Leopards only average 21.1 rebounds per game, and that is dead last in 5A. There's a clear correlation between East playing well and East rebounding well. In East's 3-game spurt to start region play, the Leopards posted 3 of their top 4 rebounding games. In their last 3-game skid, the Leopards have been absolutely bodied on the boards, giving up an average 40.3 rebounds per game and allowing double-digit offensive rebounds in all 3 games. Olympus, on the other hand, is a top 4 rebounding team in 5A at 33.8 rebounds per game. So do not be surprised if Olympus's rebounding advantage is the deciding factor in tonight's game. And what does rebounding the ball well allow Olympus to do against this East team, Calvin?
I think it just allows them to able to have more options just to do whatever they want. Maybe get to a play that's open, or maybe just try to shoot the ball again.
And the biggest thing is that it opens up their transition offense. When they rebound the ball well, they're able to get out and run, and that's when this team offense is at its best. Speaking of the Olympus offense, there has been a big change in the last 5 games that has allowed Olympus to win 5 games in a row. Calvin, do you want to briefly describe what's happened?
Sure. Over the last 5 games, Olympus has averaged 70 points per game. In the previous 13 games, they were averaging 53 points per game. Olympus has won each game by an average of 32 points in that 5-game span. During this win streak, the 7 main players on Varsity have stepped up in scoring. Of note is Mary Sheets averaging 13 points compared to a 7.8 season average. In the last game against East, Mary Sheets had 23 points to lead all scorers. Blank, Topham, Baker, Stringham, Davies, and Karen have all contributed to the hot streak.
And this new improved offense for the Titans has been the deciding factor. And it happened after their loss to Skyline. Olympus had a choice after losing by 7 on Skyline's home floor whether they were going to bounce back and make a run at the region title or fade away into that 3rd spot in Region 6, and they defiantly chose to change some stuff up and make some big changes. Huge shout out to Coach Hunsaker making those scheme adjustments. We'll break them down for you. So Olympus, suddenly they were no longer afraid to shoot the basketball. There was a noticeable effort to create and take more quality shots from behind the arc. That scheme adjustment has revolutionized the Olympus offense. Since the Skyline game, the Titans are averaging 69.8 points per game, which would be 2nd in the state overall. Before the adjustment, Olympus had scored 60-plus in 4 out of their 13 games. Since the adjustment, the Titans have scored 60-plus in every single game, which is just a crazy number, and this Olympus offense is really clicking right now. And this offensive explosion is due to their increase in three-point shooting, and more importantly, their increased efficiency from behind the arc. When you look at it, Olympus is hitting 8.2 threes per game in the last 5 games, and they're shooting 38.8% from downtown, which would be 2nd overall in the state. And their three-point makes per game would also be 2nd overall in the state. Throughout the whole season, the storyline surrounding this team was that they have a great defense and a not potent offense. And Olympus has flipped the script, and they now have an offense that can compete with some of the best offenses in 5A, and that's been the difference the last couple games. One of the key reasons for this offensive explosion is finding second scoring options. Calvin, do you want to describe at the start of the year, where was the scoring coming from?
Scoring was just coming from Alyssa Blank, and they were contributors, but they just weren't as good as her.
And it was pretty sporadic. You couldn't, rely on Mary Sheets or Abby Topham or Brooklyn Davies to give you 10 points a game. You just couldn't rely on that. So one of the revolutionary things in this new offensive scheme is that they have found second leading scorers in Abby Topham and Mary Sheets. Let's look at Topham first. Before the change, Topham was scoring 8 points per game and was shooting about 47% from the floor. The 5 games since the change, Topham is averaging 9.8 points per game and is shooting a much better 54.4% from the floor. For Sheets, the offensive increase has been even more drastic. She was averaging 5.7 points per game, shooting 31.5% from the field and 27.5% from behind the arc before the change. In the last 5 games, Sheets is averaging 13 points a game, 42.6% from the field, and a solid 44.4% from downtown. And her incredible shooting is what has unlocked her offensive ability. She's hit 12 threes in the last 5 games. She only hit 11 in the first 13 for the Titans. Just a crazy increase in that offensive production. And I would expect the great shooting from the Titans to continue tonight. Watch for Mary Sheets to get hot from outside.
Cody Seymour of the same from the Lady Titans tonight. Game blank, Topham, and freshman Josh Baker did not play against Murray. Acting down in the paint is critical.
We'll step away briefly for our national anthem and starting lineups.
Ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup for the Leopards. Number 1, Mia Tarver. Number 2, Olivia Castillo. Number 13, Diana Lee. Number 14, Bonnie Politow. And number 15, Stephen Key. And now the starting lineup for your Olympus Titans. Number 11, Amy Karen. Number 12, Joanne Davies. Number 13, Mary Sheets. Number 15, Alyssa Blank. And number 25, Abby Poppin.
And those are your starting lineups for each team. Welcome back to Olympus High School. We will get underway here for the East versus Olympus girls basketball game.
Watch closely on who East is going to put on Alyssa Blank. Personally, I think you're going to see maybe Olivia Tausinga on her. Tausinga is only 5'8", and Alyssa is 6'2", but Tausinga is the best defender on this East team. She had 7 steals in the Leopards' last game and is averaging 2.8 steals per game.
For the tip-off, Olympus has Abby Topham, and for East, they have Nizhoni McGee.
Topham has the size advantage here, about 3 inches, so I would expect her to get this jump ball.
And she does. Blank to Karen. Sheets going in. Davies from the for the 3 and no good.
There you see East swarming to the ball off the missed shot. There has been obviously some emphasis on if you can't get the rebound, force the jump ball or foul.
Tiana Lee with it. Mia Tarver. To Nizhoni McGee for the 3, no good. Over to the Titans. Karen with the ball.
And the Titans are fine giving up that shot to McGee.
Davies for the 3, no good. To Sheets, and it goes in. First 3 points for the Titans.
Mary Sheets already starting off hot. That's what you love to see if you're an Olympus fan.
Number 2 for East, no good. Olivia Tausinga. Karen for the Titans with the ball now.
Tausinga only shooting 15% from downtown. So another good forced shot there for the Titans.
And Alyssa Blank has the ball go out of court.
Right now, East has Mia Tarver on Alyssa Blank. She's averaging 3.6 steals per game. Very good defender, and Alyssa's going to have some trouble.
Davies going for the lip, no good. Blank goes in, and it is good.
Davies starting off cold offensively. She's 0 for 3, including 2 3-point misses. It seems like East is letting her shoot and are daring her to beat them.
Mia Tarver with the ball, drives in, over to Olivia Tausinga for the 3, no good. Topham for the Titans.
Again, East not getting the shots from Tarver or Lee that they want. They're Tausinga and McGee are the ones taking them.
Sheets is good in the paint for the Titans. Tausinga with it. She passes it over to number 13, Tiana Lee. To Nizhoni McGee. And Mia Tarver is no good for the 3 from downtown.
Just a bad shot from Mia Tarver there.
Blank over the Topham. Back to Blank. She passes it over to Karen. Karen trying to have the ball. Drives in, over the Sheets. She's open and no good, off the rim. Karen over the Sheets. Sheets goes again for a three and no good.
And already you can see the offensive rebounding for the Titans. We talked about this in pregame.
Karen for the three, no good.
But I believe, 3 extra possessions there for the Titans. East has to rebound the basketball if they're going to win this game.
We're going to go have Mia Tarver for the East Leopards inbound the ball.
Offensively for East, they need to get Lee and Tarver involved.
And no good for number 50 for East.
Again, there you're having your center, McGee, and Tausinga taking the threes. They're the ones taking the shots, and that's exactly what Olympus wants.
Tarver, no good. Number 14 with it. Fayana Puinteldo with the ball. Blank inbounds over to Davies. Davies drives to Karen. Over the Sheets, she goes in and not a layup that went in.
She's getting 2 free throws, though. Great move by Sheets. We saw this against East at East. Sheets got the defenders up in her face because she was shooting the ball so well, and then she used her speed and athleticism to get to the rim like she just did there.
That is good for Sheets. Sheets is 48% the free throw line. And that also goes in.
Already 7 points for Sheets. She's off to a hot start.
Tarver with it. Over the timeline.
Watch how Abby Topham jumps the screen to deny Mia Tarver an open shot.
Tarver with it.
And they do it again there. They jump the screen to not give Tarver an opening.
And it goes out off of blank. No, off of East. Davies has the ball for the Titans. Davies to blank. And wild shot goes in.
Great finish by Blank. That's what makes her so special, is because she can finish around the rim like that, through contact even.
For the three, no good. That was Tiana Lee.
Lee, she averages 14.6 points per game, but has been really quiet the last 3 games for East. Only 10 points per game. She has to play well tonight if East is going to hang with the Titans. Right now, Mia Tarver and Tiana Lee are not getting the shots that they should. They're having to take pull-up threes or quick threes in transition, and Olympus is leaving Honey McGee and Olivia Tausinga open. Those are arguably the 2 worst three-point shooters on this East team. They haven't made one tonight so far despite several attempts. So watch for Olympus to keep this defensive pressure up. They're pressuring the ball. They're pressuring Mia Tarver and Tiana Lee and forcing the ball out of their hands because they know the rest of the team can't beat them. It's going to have to come from Mia Tarver and Tiana Lee. Offensively for Olympus, they're moving the ball well. They're running in transition well. Just a couple shots haven't gone down. Keep pounding the offensive glass, though, because East is not a good rebounding team, and Olympus, the more second chance points you can get, the better.
Davies with the ball. She goes over the timeline to Sheets. Sheets so well with the East team. And it is good. 9 points for Sheets so far.
Sheets just using her athleticism. Tausinga was right on her denying the 3, and Sheets just blew right by her and got to the rim.
Tarver with it for East. She goes over to number 13. That was no good for the 3. That was Tiana Lee.
Defensive breakdown there for the Titans. You can't leave Lee wide open at the top of the key.
Blank with it. East desperately trying to defend. Blank for 2, no good.
She had Mary Sheets open in the corner if she'd kicked out there.
And first points for the night for East. That was Mia Tarver who shot the 2 points.
And I feel like East needs to take a page out of Olympus's book. Run in transition, push the ball down the floor.
Blank with it. She shoots, and it goes in. Alyssa will go to the free throw line.
Great finish from Alyssa. Again, finishing through contact. I mean, A.V. Karen is wide open on the three-point line. I would like to see Blank kick it out there to an open shooter, but she finishes the shot and has a chance for a three-point play. So just an incredible play from the BYU commit.
Blank is 92% at the free throw line. Just really incredible. Scores the 3rd point out of that play. Back to Tarver for East. Over to number 14 for East, and good for 2 points. That was Feina Puhutetua.
Yeah, Puletau, great finish.
Back to Feina. Over to Olivia Tasinga. Tasinga goes for the 2, and it was no good. Stringham with the ball now.
On that foul, Tausinga just drove hard at Brooklyn Davies. I don't think Davies got her on the arm, but it was a body foul where Brooklyn Davies wasn't set, and that's why they're going to give Tausinga 2 free throws.
Tasinga is 41% at the free throw line. Made the first one. We'll go again.
Brooklyn Davies is going to check out of this game with 2 fouls. That means you're going to either see Mary Sheets or Alyssa Blank running the point guard position for the Titans and handling the offense. We see Sheets with it here. And Sheets is almost just as good as Davies as a ball distributor.
Riley Rice with the ball for the Titans. She's in. And that was not a good throw. Over to East. Tarver with it. Tarver drives. She shoots, and no good. Maxfield with it. Tasinga with it. Tasinga drives, getting pressured. And to Maxfield, and no good for 2. Back to Blank.
Good open jumper for East. You just got to knock it down.
Stringham with it. Throws it right out. Possibly contact there with Tasinga.
Yeah, they're going to call the foul on Tausinga. It looks almost like Tausinga was going for the jump ball and just snagged Stringham's arm along the way.
Sheets with it. Rice. Blank getting pressured.
Yeah, we see the double team there on Blank.
Not textbook 3. Blank back. Textbook 3, no good.
Great hustle from A.V. Karen to save that loose ball.
Sheets with it. To Rice. Maxfield, Tasinga.
Olympus needs to keep their eyes up offensively. That was the 2nd possession of this game where A.V. Karen was wide open on the 3-point line.
Tarver, no good for the 3. Blank has the ball. Over to Karen. Karen, able to finish it out. She will go to the free throw line.
And A.V. Karen, her offensive game has revolutionized a little bit. She's not the top scorer on this team, but she can knock down a 3 when you need it. And like we saw there, she's able to get to the bucket and finish in transition.
It was good. Number 22 inbounding. Celia Tuaco to Mia Tarver. Tarver with it. Drives in where she can. And no good. Karen back with the ball. Over the top of him. She's open. Stringham drives and blocked by Sarah Maxfield.
Good deflection from Maxfield. Not a big scoring option on this team, but East going into their bench early, and I think they're trying to tire the Titans out and rely on their deeper rotation.
Topham with it. And it's over to the East. Rare mistake by the Titans.
Tarver just so aggressive, ripped that ball right away from Abby Topham.
Foul.
And that's why Mia Tarver is averaging 3.6 steals per game. It's because she's so aggressive defensively. She has a feel for where the ball is and where it's going to be. And her athleticism allows her to rack up those steals.
No good for Tiana Lee. Tarver with it. Shoots and is good. 2 more points before the buzzer.
In that first quarter, I thought Olympus obviously played very well. You're up by 11. East, they've got to just find a little bit more efficiency offensively, and they did a very nice job, though, to close out the quarter, rebounding the basketball. They didn't give up offensive rebounds. They picked up the defensive rebound, and then they ran, and that's where their offense came from. Mia Tarver is playing well. I think she's distributing well, and she's breaking the Titans' defense a little bit. Only 2 points for her, but I think you could find her get more of an offensive rhythm in the second quarter. For Lee, she is struggling. She's had some open threes. She's got to hit those if she is going to be a threat in tonight's game. And East needs her to be a leading scorer tonight. In order to beat this Olympus team, they're so good defensively, you have to have Tiana Lee shoot well.
I thought the Titans did good overall with their offense and defense. Not really anything I would really want them to change.
Something of note, though, is that Brooklyn Davies is not on the floor because she has 2 fouls right now. So that's putting Riley Rice and Adi Shimoda on the court. And Olympus is going to have to hide those two defensively. And East, their guards like Mia Tarver and Tiana Lee have to take advantage of those less elite perimeter defenders.
Stringham with the ball. Drives in where she can. No good. Foul.
Great handles from Stringham. Had the entire defense reeling on that one.
Stringham is 75% at the free throw line.
And Stringham, she's an interesting storyline. At the beginning of the year, she played really well, and she brought a lot of punch off the bench. At one time was averaging about 10 points a game. She's now down to 5.2. She's cooled off, but still a very viable offensive option for this Olympus team.
Tiana Lee with the ball for the East Leopards. Tarver with it. Shimoda tries to defend. And no good up for Tarver. Tarver has the ball again. Over to Lee. And in. Back to Tarver. Tasinga. And no good. Tasinga really struggling. Maxfield to Tasinga. No good. Well, now it is good.
On that possession, Mia Tarver, great job creating that bucket from the offensive rebound.
Threw it away to East End. Tasinga has the ball. Goes for the layup and blocked. No. Maxfield with it. Lee with it. Over to Tasinga. Over to number 22 and no good. Back to the Titans.
And the Titans' twin towers down low between Abby Topham and Alyssa Blank. They are shutting down this East offense right now, and that's what's making it so difficult for these East guards to score the basketball.
Shimoda with it. Sheets. Over the top of him and easy. No, nope. Not good.
Topham, what separates this team from being a good team and a great team is when Abby Topham can finish at the rim. Olympus playing very well tonight, but I think they can get to a whole nother level if Abby can finish when she gets to the tin.
Blank for a 3, and no good. Shimoda, jump ball.
Just tough there for Shimoda. East so aggressive defensively, and Shimoda just, you could tell she wasn't quite ready for it. And there's something about playing up a level. Shimoda plays well in the JV games, but when you play in a varsity game, the speed is way up, the intensity is way up, and East, they are one of the most physical teams you're going to play, and that is a really tough ask for Addie Shimoda. But Brooklyn Davies, she's sitting right now, and I think you'll see her maybe come back for the second half of the second quarter where Olympus is up by 11. 2 fouls. You would love to not see her get a third foul, so Hunsaker might just hold her out for the rest of the half if you're playing well enough. But I think if you see defensive breakdowns or more turnovers, Coach Hunsaker is going to put her point guard back in.
No substitutes for the Titans. Tarver with it. Tarver having some problems with the defense. Lee with it. Drives in. Not able to shoot. Tasinga with it. Over to Lee. And great defense. Not good for 2.
Incredible defense from the Titans. Textbook example of cutting a player off on the baseline and making the baseline your friend. Sheets and Blank trapped Lee against the baseline on that possession.
Stringham, no good. Lee with no. Excuse me. Number 1 with it. Lee is good for 2.
Great job by Lee. In transition, Olympus' defense not quite set like they normally are, and Lee's able to explode to the basket for a bucket.
Addie Shimoda with it. Over to Stringham. Drives and able to get around Maxfield, but not good for 2.
Stringham has primarily been a shooter this season. She's being very aggressive tonight and getting to the tin and drawing the fouls, particularly on Maxfield, who's a slightly smaller defender. Sarah's just a little bit stronger and is able to have the advantage inside. So heads up play from Sarah Stringham there.
Number 22 for East is being substituted by number 14, Fiano Buatudua. That is good.
Some problems with the scores table. The score currently reads 21-1. That is not the correct score. And right now, Olympus winning the foul department. Only 5 fouls for the Titans, 8 on the Leopards. And when you play aggressive defense like East does, you're going to get called for a lot more fouls. And that's what has enabled Olympus to get to the line so much. And that has given them the advantage in this game so far, is that they're getting to the line and they're getting easy buckets. East is not. They're having to work for every single bucket.
Hopefully that won't happen again. We will resume shortly.
Yeah, what happened, I believe, is they put the points as the fouls, and so East had 12 fouls. Then they just had to switch it out.
Tarver with it. And over to number 14, and no good. Fien Lee with it, no good. Foul.
I want to see Lee go to the bucket like that more often. I think if she can get inside and go into Alyssa Blank or Abby Topham's body, she's going to draw the foul. That'll put the Olympus bigs in foul trouble. And Lee, she just needs to keep attacking. Three-point shot's not falling for her, so you need to get to the rim, and you need to draw a foul, get yourself going from the free throw line.
Danielle Lee at the free throw line. She is 61% at the free throw line. Respectable number there. 2 for 2.
You see here, without Mary Sheets or Brooklyn Davies on the floor, Alyssa Blank is going to be running the offense.
Stringham has it over the Blank, and the ball is stolen from Blank.
Tarver so active defensively. She's going to create a steal, and she did so, just picked Blank's pocket right there.
Air ball for Mia Tarver, back to Blank for the Titans. Getting sandwiched, and Karen was able to get 2 points in the paint.
Heads up play by both A.V. Karen and Abby Topham. The pass from Blank was a little far for Topham, and that's what got her trapped against the baseline. She splits the double team and passes it to Karen for the easy layup. Just heads up play. That's where you can't script that. That's not a scripted play. You can't practice that. That's just great players doing great things. And the Titan lead is back to 11. East, they're staying in this game, but they're not threatening the Titans at all. So you need Mia Tarver and Tiana Lee to get going offensively if East wants to cut into this lead anymore and hopefully get this down to 5 points, 2-point lead before halftime. I think if East is down by double digits at half, it's going to be very hard for the Leopards to come out and mount a comeback in the second half.
Definitely agree. Lee with the ball for East. Lee over to Pablo 2. And no good. To the free throw line she goes. She is 55% at the free throw line.
You see some foul trouble here for the Titans. Abby Topham now with 2 fouls, so she's going to have to go sit. Taylor Rosander is going to check in for her.
She will go again. Fian Poetu averages 6.1 points per game. Okay player.
Huletau, who has played well so far tonight, I think she's been a good influence inside for the Leopards.
Sheets open 3 and it's good. Wow.
2 threes on the night for her. East, you cannot leave Mary Sheets open on the perimeter.
Open 3, no good, off the rim for Lee.
On that possession, I get it's an open 3, and as Tiana Lee, she wants to take those. She averages 1.7 3-point makes per game, but she's not very efficient from behind the arc, only 26%. And when you have the smaller Addie Shimoda on you, I think if you're Lee, you just got to drive that to the rim, try to draw a foul, get to the free throw line.
Rosander at the free throw line. First free throws of the season. No good. Tarver with the ball. Drives in and goes for 2 and no good. Jump ball. Everybody wants the ball.
It'll stay Olympus ball, but there you see East's aggressiveness defensively again. And it's a two-edged sword. Sometimes you're going to draw the jump, get the steal, and win the possession. Other times you're going to get called for a foul and send the Titans to the free throw line.
Man, Tarver just got the ball after Sheets made an error. It is good for 2. Shimoda pushed out of the court.
And that one, Shimoda, she didn't beat Tarver to the basket. She wasn't set. They're going to call that every time on Shimoda. Mia Tarver, very experienced, just went right into Shimoda's body to get the call.
And it was good. East now has it to a 10-point lead for the Titans.
Watch if that bucket gets Tarver going offensively.
Sheets with it, drives, and almost stolen and no good for three for Karen. Rosander saves it.
Yeah, great effort by Rosander. Man, Mia Tarver has just been incredible tonight defensively.
Back to the Titans, Sheets with it. Lots of action going on. Blank almost for the three. Gonna go to the free throw line for Blank.
Over the last couple minutes, East has upped their intensity even further, and it's a little unsettling for the Titans. You've seen some turnovers, you've seen some bad passes, some rushed offensive possessions, and then East is just running in transition. They are saying, we are not going to play half-court offense. We're going to run in transition, and we're going to let Mia Tarver beat your defender off the dribble in transition, and it's working. They are slowing Olympus down and are finding a little bit of a groove offensively.
I think East is finding something that will help them maybe not win the game, but it definitely cut Olympus's lead. Tarver with it, and no good. Sheets with it for the Titans. Karen. Over to Sheets. Blank in the paint. And Karen open for the three, and no good. Tarver back with the ball for East. 50, and no good. That's Nizoni McGee. She was one of the starters.
After such a great play from A.V. Karen to get that rebound and then draw the foul, just very heads up. But she did have a little bit of a defensive breakdown in transition. She didn't get back. She stopped about the free throw line while East was still running, and that allowed the Leopards to get unopposed to the basket. East didn't finish, but if you're A.V. Karen, you got to still get back in transition and not let East get easy buckets, because that's how they're going to come back in this game.
Karen is no good. She's 40% at the free throw line.
Karen, she does so much for this team, though. She's the best perimeter defender. She's rebounded really well tonight. She hustles. She can knock down a three. Not maybe your top scoring option and doesn't do all the stuff that shows up in the box score, but she's a very critical player for this Titan team.
Rice with the ball now. Sheets with it. Sheets is running really fast, and Karen is good for the layup. Tarver with it. Tarver going in, and there are three players there from Olympus there to stop the ball.
Yeah, Tarver's going to get a 1-and-1 here because East is in the single bonus. So if a team is over 6 fouls, the opposing team will shoot 1-and-1 whenever there's a foul. If the team gets over 10 fouls, they call it the double bonus, and the opposing team gets to shoot 2 free throws every time there's a foul.
Lee with it, goes in, and no good. And that is good for Sarah Maxfield.
We talked about this in pregame of how East needs to not let Olympus pound the offensive glass and not get second chance points. For Olympus, it's the same thing. East is not a good rebounding team. You can't give them second chance points when you're clearly the better rebounding team. Right now it's really hard for Olympus because they're playing a small ball lineup. Your tallest player is A.V. Karen at 5'9". You don't have Joss Baker, Abby Topham, or Alyssa Blank in the game, and I think that's making it more difficult for the Titans to rebound the basketball right now.
Sheets with it. Rice, Stringham, working the perimeter, and a good 2 points from Sheets.
14 points from Sheets. She's been the highlight of this Olympus team so far.
Again, I think Sheets in this East team is something that just clicks. And as we just saw, Lee just scored 3 points.
Not good for the Titans if Lee starts knocking down those 3-point shots.
Stringham, no good. Got caught with Maxfield.
And the incredible thing is, despite Olympus having the small ball lineup and East having all the momentum, it's still a 10-point game right now. And that is because Olympus is getting to the line and they're shooting fairly well from the free throw stripe.
Karen will go to the free throw line. Karen has 8 points tonight. She averages 3.2 points per game. That one's good.
Avi Karen in double figures already in the first half. Great game for her so far. Mary Sheets with 14, obviously playing well. And just my final thoughts on that half. Olympus, they're playing well. It's hard to increase your lead when you don't have your starting point guard, starting center, and your star forward on the floor. And that's what happened for the last 2 minutes of that second half. Olympus still able to be holding a 12-point lead at the end of one half. Just incredible. Great first half from the Titans. A lot of fight in that second quarter that I think is what allowed them and showed how great of a team this Olympus team is.
Certainly. I thought Olympus was able to hold off East and when they were just defending really well and just going in and trying to score within the paint. We will see you after the halftime. Welcome back to Olympus High School, where we're going to start the second half of the East versus Olympus girls basketball game. In the first half, we saw East just throw everything at them at the end there, just trying to do whatever they can to score.
And specifically, I mean, we look at this game. Olympus started out on a 9-0 run, a 16-2 run. Eventually, the first quarter ended with them up 19-6. Olympus dominated that first quarter. Mary Sheets was scoring the ball well, and they were playing really great defense. In the second quarter, Brooklyn Davies and Abby Topham both got into foul trouble, and East found their stride a little bit. They weren't able to cut into the lead because they were in the bonus, and Olympus was shooting free throws almost every other possession. And that makes it really hard to cut into a big lead. Now resetting after halftime, I think East is going to come out with that same rhythm, and Olympus is going to have to match it. We're going to have to see more intensity from Abby Topham and Alyssa Blank inside. And when you look at this Olympus team, I mean, Mary Sheets scoring the basketball very, very well. 14 points. Avi Karen, 10 points. She's been huge. Alyssa Blank, only with 8 points so far, so a little bit more of a quiet night for her. I think East, Mia Tarver, she's done a very nice job on the Titan star player. But I think you could see Alyssa get going again here in the second half. She's taking a lot of contested shots. I'd like her to just let the game come to her. Take what the defense is giving you. If it's giving you wide open Avi Karen threes, kick out to Avi Karen, and then you're going to find some more open shots if you're getting your teammates involved.
All right, we will start the second half momentarily. Brooklyn Davies, Mary Sheets, Avi Karen, Abby Topham, and Alyssa Blank are in for Olympus. Tarver with the ball for East. Over to Tasinga, to McGee. Lee with it. Tarver goes in, and that was way away from the basket, air ball.
Again, we're seeing East struggle in the half court. At the end of that second quarter, they got out in transition, and that's what opened up their offense.
Sheets no good for three. Topham not good for two at all.
I talked about this earlier, but if Topham can finish, this Olympus team is a great team.
Blank with the ball over the timeline. Sheets open for a three, and no good. McGee with it. Tarver. Tasinga. Tarver goes in. 2 points good in the paint.
Mia Tarver, great finish to get it over Blank. We haven't seen that a lot in the half court of these East scoring guards finishing over Alyssa Blank.
Karen with it. Over to Sheets, who was open and good for 2 points.
Mary Sheets, just incredible. You're wide open on the perimeter. She sees Mia Tarver closing out. She chooses not to take the three, gets Tarver in the air, and just blows right by her. That's where Mary Sheets, her skill offensively is so incredible.
And that is good for three. Olivia Tasinga. This is something really good for East. And if East can make more points like that, Olympus might be in trouble. Sheets with it. Karen with it now. Over to Davies. Almost threw it away, but Topham gets it and good for two.
That's just great communication, and you see that these two have a real connection. That pass was thrown before Abby Topham had even started rolling. She starts rolling and just snares the pass right out of the air.
Not good for a layup for Tasinga. Sheets speedy down the court. Blank for a textbook three, and it is good.
There's where Mary Sheets handling the ball. You're running in transition. Bam, Alyssa Blank gets a more open shot than a lot of the attempts she got in the first half.
No good for McGee. Wild shot, no good for number 14 of Puateo. McGee is at the free throw line.
That's a tough foul because now Alyssa Blank has 2 fouls, Abby Topham has 2 fouls. Pretty much that means if either of those two get a foul for the rest of this quarter, they immediately have to go sit to avoid getting into further foul trouble. And so if I'm East, I'm taking it right at Abby Topham and Alyssa Blank. Mia Tarver, you got to be aware that they are in foul trouble, and you can attack them, and they have to be less aggressive so they don't draw the foul.
Davies with it. Sheets with it now. Almost able to drive in. Karen gets the ball stolen, and Tarver goes in, and it is good for 2 points.
Mia Tarver, she's been the one girl show so far. Her defensive impact is what's creating a lot of the offense for the Leopards.
Davies with it. Drives in, shoots, and it is good.
What a shot from Brooklyn Davies. My goodness, she drives right by her defender, gets to the rim, finishes through contact. She's had a quiet offensive night and has been in some foul trouble, but great to see her come out and finish that tough shot.
Davies at the free throw line. 70% at the free throw line. No good. Davies gets the ball after a bad shot, pass for East. And Blank was no good for the 3. Lee with it. Shoots. Off the rim. No good. Karen has it for the Titans.
Olympus here with a chance to expand this lead to 15 points.
Oh. Blank has it. Davies, Sheets open, and no good.
Abby Topham, though, another offensive rebound.
Davies is not able to get control of it. Back to East.
Back-to-back possessions for Topham with offensive rebounds.
From downtown, off the backcourt, no good.
I love seeing Topham stay in the paint and hustle for those offensive boards.
Blank, easy layup, 2 more points.
Again, that's the communication. You can tell this team, they're very well oiled. They know each other very well. Brooklyn Davies, Alyssa Blank, just that quick touch pass gets Blank a wide open layup. For East, they just got to find a way to stop Olympus. Right now, Olympus is surging offensively. They've scored 11 points so far, about midway through the 3rd quarter. So they're on par to score 22 points this quarter. East has got to step up defensively. And one way you can do that, I think, is by making shots, forcing Olympus to take the ball out of the net and not run in transition. Because that's been the difference here in this 3rd quarter compared to the 2nd quarter. Is in the 2nd quarter, East was the one getting the stops and running in transition. And it's flipped now. Olympus is the one getting the stops. They're the ones scoring in transition, and they're forcing East to take the ball out of the net and play some half-court offense, which the Leopards have struggled to do all game. Really, their only half-court offense is coming from Mia Tarver driving the basketball.
Sir Maxfield is going to inbound for East. Tarver with it. Attempts to drive in. Back out to the perimeter. And no good for number 22, Scylla Tukoi. Davies with it. Drives past top of key. And good for 2.
Another great offensive play by Brooklyn Davies. Not shooting the ball great. She's not the best three-point shooter on this team, but her speed and athleticism is allowing her to just beat East defenders right now. She's catching them sleeping on the perimeter.
And Tarver no good for the 2.
Again, you see all of East's half-court production is coming from Mia Tarver driving and drawing a foul. They have to find something else in the half-court, or else this East team is going to continue to struggle offensively.
Tarver is 64% at the free throw line.
That free throw puts her into double figures, though, leading this East team right now.
No good for that one. Blank with the ball. Passes the ball and back to Blank from Davies. Topham not able to score 2 points and goes out.
Topham there, she just needs to go straight up, not worry about the defender in front of her. Right there, she had Maxfield on her. Topham is stronger than Maxfield, has a height advantage. She just has to go up strong, and I think she's going to be able to finish that. Don't be afraid to go into the body of your defender.
Tarver was fouled, I believe.
Really tough break there for Davies, getting her 3rd foul. She's been very impactful both defensively and found a little offensive groove here in the second half.
Number 22, Takoi. And no, oh. Foul. Olivia Tasinga.
And that's Tausinga's 4th foul. East not making any showing like they're going to check her out. So now they run someone to the scores table, so we'll see Tausinga check out. But that's going to hurt East's depth. Tausinga's a good defender, and she's put a lot of pressure on Olympus's guards, and East has been able to switch everything defensively.
Stringham open, no good. Back to East. Takoi. Tausinga. Lee with it. Tarver goes for the 3, and no good. Maxfield with it. Tarver. Not really doing much. Drives in. No good.
If I'm Olympus, I would be going at Olivia Tausinga this possession. You can get a foul on her this possession, she's out of the game.
Tausinga with it. What will happen? Goes for 3. Off the rim. And saved. Tausinga, good for 2.
And there you see Alyssa, she couldn't close out on that shot maybe as aggressively as she normally does because she has those 2 fouls.
Sheets. Stringham. Sheets. Around the perimeter. Stringham. Sheets. Back and forth. Blank shoots and not able to finish it.
Good look from Blank. Normally we see her hit that, kind of having a cold night tonight. I mean, she has 13 points, but relatively for her dominance, she has not shot the basketball particularly well tonight. Mary Sheets making up the difference, though, with 16 points.
East replaces Tausinga with number 14, Faina Pautudue.
For Olympus, they checked in Joss Baker and Taylor Rosander, so they're going to go with a big lineup instead of the small ball lineup we saw earlier in the second quarter.
Sheets. Tarver is gonna shoot 2. Rode around the rim and not in.
That's really tough for East. You can't be leaving points on the board, whether it's free throws, easy layups, second chance points. You got to put as many points on the board as you can if you're going to match Olympus's offense.
Rosander with it. Sheets. Karen. Over to Stringham. Sheets. To Baker. Almost thrown away. And Karen goes for the 3 and off the bucket. Tarver for East. Lee with the ball. Lee drives in, able to, and was able to capitalize where she was able to get in. Davies goes, and off the backcourt, but no good. So far, what have you seen out of East so far in the second half?
Well, for East right now, they are not getting the same defensive pressure that they were at the end of the second quarter. Their level of aggressiveness has gone down. They've got to play with more aggression and be swiping at the ball. They need to force some turnovers in this fourth quarter because that's what got their offense going. And until they're able to force some turnovers and get it out in transition, it's going to be all Olympus. And Olympus obviously dealing with some foul trouble right now. That's the main issue, is that Brooklyn Davies has 3 fouls. Alyssa Blank has 2 fouls, and Abby Topham has 2 fouls. That puts a lot of pressure on your team. You've got to play clean, and you got to keep your star players in the game. Your backups have done a great job. Olympus's bench has been incredible at holding East at bay. I think in these next 4 minutes, in the first half of the fourth quarter, Olympus's starters need to come out and they need to dominate and balloon this lead. So then, if at the end of the fourth quarter you are in a little more serious foul trouble, it's not going to matter because you're up by 15 plus.
We're going to resume the game. Davies with it. Over the timeline. Topham with it. Karen. Davies goes in to Topham, and that is a great play. 2 points. Good.
Great shot from Topham. Instead of trying to go up and finish at the rim like we see her normally do, she just takes a little fadeaway jumper.
Tarver. Foul.
Again, the more Abby Topham can expand her offensive game, the better this Olympus team is going to be. If Abby Topham is dangerous offensively, it's going to take so much pressure off of Alyssa Blank.
No good for the 3 from Lee. Davies with it. She trips and still has the ball. Blank for a 3, and it's good. Smooth.
16 points for Blank. She just does it quietly. That's when you know you have a star player, is when they're able to drop 16 points relatively quietly, and you just look up the score table and you're like, Blank has 16 when relatively she's not been super impactful offensively tonight.
Dave's with it. Drives past the defender. Karen with it. Blank getting sandwiched, and 2 is not going to count.
I like what Alyssa's been doing the last couple possessions. It feels like she's looking more for her shot, and you love to see that out of your star player. This is one way you're going to help balloon your lead. Right now, Abby Topham struggling a little offensively. Your second leading scorer, Mary Sheets, is not in the game. So this is a time for Alyssa Blank to shine.
Baker with it. Blank. Textbook 3. Let's go.
Back-to-back triples for Blank. Again, looking for that shot, finding her groove, getting open. Wow.
Patue just scored a 3 for East. Davies drives. The Blank. Textbook 3 again. Almost. Would have been cool.
Abby Topham's been great on the offensive glass tonight, and it's been a big factor in this game. Those second chance points are not allowing East to get out and run. Even if Olympus isn't scoring, it gives Olympus another opportunity and puts more pressure on the East defense.
50% at the free throw line for Topham. Another stat, she's 8.5 points per game. As far as I can remember, she is down from how many points she scored per game last year.
She averaged about 11 points a game her sophomore year. We haven't seen her get back to that offensive production, but she is finding her groove as of late. We talked about this in pregame about her offensive numbers being up she is averaging about 9 points a game in the last 5-game winning streak. So Abby Topham, she's shown some good stuff offensively. We can't stress enough, though, how much of an impact she has defensively. She's a great defensive anchor for this team. She complements Alyssa Blank very well. She has great length, great hustle, and she's a great rebounding big. And that helps your team a lot. When you have a big that you can rely on to be there to snare defensive and offensive rebounds, it forces the other team to have to counteract that somehow. They have to crash the boards even harder, which forces them not to run in transition as much because they're sending everyone down to get a rebound. For Alyssa, 19 points. She's the star of this team, and she's helped Olympus balloon this lead to 16.
Tarver with the ball. She tries to drive and blocked. Hard for her to get any points in the paint.
Again, Mia Tarver getting inside, though, in the half court. That's all their half court offense is Mia Tarver driving the basketball and then drawing a foul down low.
No good.
Again, another point left off the scoreboard. East, when they're looking back at this game, you can look at that free throw percentage and those free throw totals as being one of the reasons you lost this game.
Blank with it. Davies with it. Top of key. Blank, textbook three. No, off the rim.
If you're East, you got to do a better job than that, though. Alyssa Blank getting a wide open three on the wing.
Knocks it down. That's Tanya Lee.
Lee, she's a great player, has 12 points on the night, but she struggled a lot in the first half, and that's one of the reasons the Titans were able to build this lead.
Throws it away. Rare mistake by Blank. Foul.
Yeah, we're going to get a travel on Miss Honey McGee. So Olympus basketball. Sheets checks in back in here, though, so I think you'll see Sheets play a couple minutes and close out the game with this lineup, and then you'll switch in some of the deeper rotation players where you're up so big.
Out of bounds for Karen. So close to saving the ball.
Yeah, I think they're going to say she had possession and then just took an extra step, and so they're calling a travel. Still East basketball.
Lee with it. McGee. Tarver. No good. Excuse me, that was Tasinga. Maxfield will inbound from the jump ball. Tarver thought about it. Tasinga for three. No close at all. Air ball.
That's not what you want if you're East. Tasinga only shooting 15% from behind the arc. She has hit a three tonight, but she banked it in. You got to get better shots than that. Your shots have got to be coming from Mia Tarver or Tiana Lee.
She averages 7.3 points per game. Not a bad option. Just stuff she can work on. Not good for two from Topham. East Tasinga. Almost stolen away from Baker. Tarver. Maxfield.
East is going to get shots. They're in the single bonus. They're great defense from A.V. Karen. Mia Tarver has tried to drive on her the past couple possessions, and A.V. Karen hasn't had any of it. She's locked Mia Tarver down in the end of this fourth quarter.
Maxfield has 3 points in this game. Against Murray, she has 2 points and 1 rebound. Sheets throws it away, but Karen takes the ball for the Titans.
They're putting a lot of pressure on A.V. Karen right now to force her to handle the basketball. As A.V. Karen, she does a lot of things really well. She's not the best ball handler, and so that's a good defensive scheme from East to force A.V. Karen to be distributing and run the offense. You can't let up easy layups like East just did there, though, if you're trying to come back.
Definitely agree with that. Tanya and Lee over to McGee. It is good. And her teammates are loving it out on the bench. Sheets with it.
With that three, East is creeping back into this game. It's a 12-point game right now. Olympus has got to stay disciplined, especially on the offensive end. I think they can outscore this East team, but you can't be sloppy and you can't turn the ball over.
Blank with it. Over to Baker. Over the top of him. Beautiful pass.
There's a huge mismatch there. Abby Topham, 5'11", on the 5'9", Sarah Maxfield.
Not good for two for Tarver. Baker, the freshman. Karen with the ball. Sheets. The blank and blocked, I believe.
Alyssa Blank's going to get 2 free throws here, and you're going to see Brooklyn Davies and Sarah Stringham check back in. But Blank, they ran the same exact play as they did the possession before, where they lob it in to their big down low, taking advantage of Olympus being much taller than this East team. East, their tallest player is 5'9". Olympus has 4 players that have played tonight that are over 5'9".
High advantage for the Titans, definitely a problem for East.
So a 15-point lead for Olympus. East was making it a little scary there. About 3.5 minutes to go, the lead's down to 12. Olympus stays firm, and right now you're feeling very comfortable if you're the Titans. You have a 15-point lead, 2.5 to go. I think you just need a bucket or two and a stop, and then you can call this game over.
They have put in Rosander for the Titans. And Davies. For East, they have McGee, Takoy, Tarver, Maxfield, and number 10.
I really like the decision by Coach Hunsaker to put Taylor Rosander in. This is going to get her more experience. And so then in the playoffs, if you have another similar physical game where you're going to need a big like Taylor Rosander to step up and fill some minutes, she has experience in a live action game like this one. And East is still playing all out. They have most of their starters in. They still have Mia Tarver in. And so both Rosander and Baker are getting a lot of valuable experience.
Tarver, easy layup. 14-point lead by the Titans. Davies losing control of the ball. Wow. Baker eventually has the ball, goes for the layup, and no good.
Brooklyn Davies shaken up after that hard dive and fall. She looks to be all right, just a little shaken up, but we hope she's okay. One thing about Davies is her hustle and her drive. Her motor is at 100% every time. Every time she steps on the court, she's given her all. And that is something that's very critical on a good team. You need a player like Brooklyn Davies, who maybe isn't going to score the basketball as much as other people, but she's always going to come out and give her all. Mostly because when you see a player like that, her teammates are going to play even harder.
Rosander? No. Maxfield with it. Lee goes for the easy layup and is good. Davies Speeding down the court. Layup good. I don't think they counted. She'll go to the free throw line.
Brooklyn Davies, she's so good. Again, you see her drive and her motor there. You're up 14, you're the starting point guard. You haven't played a lot of the game due to foul trouble. It would be pretty easy for a different player to say, hey, I'm not going to give my all. We're up. I'm just going to kind of coast to the end of this game. Davies has not done that. She has come out, given her all, drove hard to the bucket there, and got the and one. Just a great game from Brooklyn Davies, even though she was in foul trouble. I think tonight highlighted why Davies is such an important piece to this Olympus team.
Tarver with it, guard by Stringham, and it goes in. Tarver will go for 1 point.
Tarver has definitely been the bright spot for East tonight. 16 points on the night. She has been most of the offense. Her ability to drive past defenders in the half court and then take contact from bigger defenders is incredible, and it's what makes her such a viable offensive option.
Baker over the timeline. Rice, not good. Thrown down to the ground by Mia Tarver for Joss Baker. Because of that, Baker is at the free throw line. She's 32%. The free throw line is definitely something she can work at. Has improved over the season, though. That is good.
For Baker, it looks like she's changed her free throw routine a little bit. I've never seen her do that exact wind up for the free throw. Maybe changed her form just a little bit. Obviously works because she's perfect from the line.
Kelly Trabiano in for Sarah Stringham. Tarver for East with the ball. East not really substituting any of their JV players. Baker with the ball for the Titans. Going down the court, and no good. Baker, Rice, and Tarver able to fumble the ball out of the court away from Riley Rice.
Again, it's great for these younger players to be getting experience right now in a high-intensity game like this. You're up big, but East is still playing with a ton of energy, has a lot of their starters in, as Calvin was talking about. And Olympus, this experience is going to be critical come playoff time.
Thrown out of court by, I believe it was number 22, Celia Decoy. Kelly Trabiano is going to inbound with less than 30 seconds on the clock. Trabiano to Baker, gain sandwich. Jump ball. Jump ball.
Olympus, again, another great offensive game, 71 points. That is above what they've been averaging in the last 5 games. And now for 6 straight games, they've scored over 60 plus. And I think it comes back to great three-point shooting. Mary Sheets and Alyssa Blank both shot the ball very well tonight. And both of them, I believe Sheets had 19 and Blank had 18. Both played very well. And offensively, Olympus has found their second option in Mary Sheets.
Traviano thought about the 3, but made a layup instead. Less than 10 seconds, hard collision in midair. Baker and Daniel Lee. Lee's at the free throw line. Lee during this game has been the second best player for East, scoring 14 points.
She struggled a lot in the first half. She didn't shoot the ball particularly well from the outside. She had some open looks, and she didn't finish quite as well as she normally does. So, again, East just underperforming a little bit offensively, especially their two main scoring guards. Both had good games, but most of their points came in the second half when Olympus was already up by double digits.
And that does it. The Titans win 73-56 over the East Leopards. That puts them one step closer to winning the region title away from Skyline.
Yep. Huge game next Tuesday against Skyline. Winner take all. Whoever wins that game will pretty much lock up Region 6. And Olympus, a great game tonight. It was great to see Mary Sheets have another great game. And Alyssa Blank, so dominant. I loved how it didn't feel like she was forcing her shot. It was very efficient. She is on a whole different level right now. Her point totals have gone down slightly, but her efficiency is going way up, and her playmaking has been incredible the last couple games. This Lady Titan team is very, very good. It's time to jump on the bandwagon if you're an Olympus fan. Olympus on the road to having a very deep playoff run.
All right, for our upcoming opponents, the Lady Titans, like Mark said, will take on Skyline at home February 15th. The East Leopards take on Skyline Eagles on Friday. We want to have a packed house on senior night. We want all the support out here for the seniors for Olympus and just out for a rival game. Thank you for watching, and we will have a good night. I'm Calvin Fuller.
I'm Mark Schwartz. And you've been watching Olympus basketball on OlyTV.
Good night.